Welcome to Project for Awesome. My name is Tony, and I support Lifespan.io. It's a charity organization that is working to help many scientists and researchers and biotech companies all over the world to improve the health of everybody on the planet. And we found out in recent years the cause of why people biologically age. But you may say to yourself, well, why is that so important? Why is that an important Project for Awesome? Because as we age, as we biologically age, more molecular damage accumulates in our body. And when that accumulates to a certain point, a whole range of diseases start to manifest in our body. And those diseases is what brings pain and suffering and eventual death to everybody on the planet since the dawn of time. It's a pretty big problem. Most people have just given up to the fact that that's just what life is all about. You age and you die, you get disease and you die. But in the past, maybe even 20 years ago, it would have been far-fetched to even think that we could do anything about it. But it's been improving. 500 years ago, people weren't dying of the causes related to aging. They were dying to infectious diseases. And even you go back 10,000 years ago, many thousands of years ago, people weren't dying due to biological aging. They were dying because some dinosaur ate them. So it was a completely different world back then. But now with technology, industrial revolution, and the ingenuity that the human mind is using to improve our conditions, we are no longer chased by dinosaurs, and we're no longer facing the threat with infectious diseases in most part. By using the human mind, we've been able to take those laws of nature and change them so we don't have to deal with that pain. That's what makes the human species so great compared to, say, maybe animals or insects. We have that intelligence, that ability to take nature and form it into what we want it to do. Nature can be very great. You have a waterfall, you have a scenic pond. Nature can be very great, but also nature can be very bad. You have an infestation of fleas in your house. Well, nature has brought them there. You're not going to just leave a bunch of fleas in your house just because by nature they came there. But through human ingenuity and intelligence, we can take over nature and engineer those issues that bring the world pain and suffering, what we call Project for Awesome, world suck. How can we eliminate this? This is a big problem, but it's a problem now we can now actually tackle. We have now the knowledge and we have the technology to slam dunk all the diseases of aging into oblivion. We're that close now. Many people don't realize how close technology has ramped up in the last 20 years, but it's here now. But in order to get it to the market quicker, we all got to push just a little bit harder. And to tell you for Project for Awesome, which the main theme is how can we stop world suck, we do that by looking at what's causing the most issues in the world. Now, there's a lot of issues in the world, and they all need attention. All of them do. But take a look at it from the quantity standpoint. The quantity standpoint, 150,000 people die every day on the planet. 150,000. 50,000 of those people that die are due to other issues not related to aging. It could be a gunshot. It could be infectious disease. It can be not having water. It can be all those type of things, getting hit by a car, all those non-related biological issues. But 100,000 people die a day. 100,000, that's just, it's unimaginable when you think 100,000 people die due to the effects of biological aging. As I mentioned before, as we biologically age, from 0 all the way into 100, from 0 to say 27 years old, that's actually good. Your body's maturing and getting old. You want to do that and getting stronger. However, when you get past that point, you start to go down here, you start to accumulate damage. And as damage keeps accumulating, we get to a threshold point that our body no longer can defend itself. And then it starts to take a quadratic effect, and as diseases set in, thousands of different diseases out there, biological diseases related to aging that bring us down to pain, suffering, and eventual death. So just think 100,000 a day. Can you think of any other issue out in the world where people are dying at a rate of 100,000 people a day? There's no other. Statistically, that is a fact. So it is the world's greatest issue. I think we've gotten a better understanding that is the world's greatest issue. Now, I have this analogy set up here for you that I'm going to run through. About, like I said, 100,000 people die a day to biological aging, to the diseases that manifest due to biological aging because damage is accumulating in our body. Molecular, cellular damage is accumulating that causes tissue inflammation, it causes organs to dysfunction, that eventually causes us to die. So 100,000 people. Now, it's actually been going up. The rate of death is around 160 or 170,000 a day right now. So biological aging due to death is close to 110,000 now a day. It keeps climbing. So now, just take for example, you don't really hear about these. Yeah, you hear someone passing away in your neighborhood, or maybe your friends or your relatives, or your parents, or your grandparents, or maybe someone younger who had some genetic issue. But you don't really hear about it. It's kind of watered down. But let me kind of pretend I'm the news channel here reporting, and we have a different type of catastrophe going on in the world. It's not the biological aging. Just say some kind of nuclear bombs or something are going off in random cities, and terrorists or something, say, for example, are detonating these things off. It would get a lot of attention. Just think on the media, the news. People would be fixated to the news of, oh no, another city's gone, another city's gone, and another city's gone. Just imagine that. But that's what's happening with biological aging. But it's spread out throughout the world, so we're not seeing a concentrated effect. But I have an analogy here that I'm going to run through. And just listen to it as I go through it, and you'll start to appreciate the quantitative effects that biological aging has on the world. So we're going to start off here with day 1. We're going to go through 100 days. 100 days of terror, okay? And day 1, in the state of California, a city called Vacaville. There's a city called Vacaville with a population of 100,032 people. Well, on day 1, some catastrophic event occurred on that day, and the whole entire city is gone. Gone. Just one day. The whole entire city is gone. So, now, what we say is, okay, Bam, that's huge. 100,000 people in just one day. Now we go on day 2. San Angelo, Texas. There are 100,019 people that live there. And guess what? On day 2, all of them are gone. Now 2 cities wiped out in 2 days. Huge. Now imagine this. Day 3 in the state of Alabama, the city called Tuscaloosa vanishes with 100,287 people gone. Bam, 3 days in a row. Now, we get to day 4 in the state of Texas, in the city called Allen. There's 100,650 people gone. Now, we go to day 5 here in the state of Michigan, in a city called Clinton. There's 100,712 people in there and gone. 5 days now have passed and 500,000 people have died. 5 cities have been wiped out completely in just 5 days. Now, just take a step back here for a second. Can you imagine that? The news would be going crazy. Just in 5 days, 5 cities have vanished from the planet. 500,000 people have gone in just 5 days. The news would be plastered with this every single day. But this is what's happening. It's just spread around the world. Now, take another example. Let's go to day 6 in the state of Nevada, a city called Sparks. 100,088 people are gone. Boom. We go to day 7 in the state of Washington, a city called Renton. Do you know where that's at? Well, it's no longer there. 100,371 people, bam, gone. Day 8 occurs, California, in the city of Vista. Have you heard of that? You know where that's at? Well, it doesn't really matter anymore because 100,568 people gone. Move on to day 9. Day 9 in New Mexico, the state of New Mexico. There's a city called Las Cruces. Maybe saying that wrong, but you get my gist. 100,712 people live there on that day 9, but on day 10, they're gone. Day Texas to day 10 in the state of New Jersey. There's a city called Woodbridge. There's 100,965 people that live there. But no more. They're gone. Bam. Now, just take a look. We'll step back again. 10 days of terror. Now, 1 million people have vanished from the earth in just 10 days. 10 cities around the U.S. have gone in one single day. Just imagine that. 10 cities vanish in 10 days and 100 people have vanished. Can you imagine the news? Can you imagine the press? I mean, it would be astronomical. They would be running all around figuring, what is going on? Why are these people vanishing? These people they're gone. It would be, no one would be talking about anything else on the news except only this. This would be the biggest thing on every single channel, on your mobile phone, on TV. Just in 10 days, 1 million people gone. So I'm not going to go through the entire 100 days, because I think you can see my point already. In just 10 days, 1 million people have gone into extinction. And that's an analogy of biological aging. That's what's happening around the world, but we don't see that huge effect. If I would go on in 100 days, I have 100 cities here in the U.S. with about a population about 100,000 to 120,000. I could rattle through the whole list and just imagine if I go through the entire list. It's just astronomical. So I think you can see when we say this Project for Awesome World Suck, what's causing the pain the most. This is causing the most pain. We just don't see it in a concentrated effect, but this is what's happening around the world. So I hope you can see how this analogy can help understand this huge phenomenon that's going on. But we now have the technologies out there to solve it. There's 7 hallmarks of aging. 7. And many of them now already have designed cures to take them and eliminate those. Of course, we need to bring those through clinical trials, and actually several of them are already in government clinical trials. Can you believe that? You probably never even heard of them, but several of them are already in government regulated FDA clinical trials right now as we speak. So this is coming up very quickly. The public is not aware of what's happening, but every day we don't do anything, that's another 100,000 people gone. Another city vanishes off the air, off the planet Earth. So every day that you sit around and don't spend one effort to try to help make that needle go one day sooner so we could get all this to the masses, you're allowing another city to be wiped out in the world. Just one day. If you just think, if you just spend a little bit of effort, for example, voting for this video. Cast your vote for this video. It's so simple. You just press the button right there in the upper right side of this page. It says vote. Just hit that button, vote. That's all you need to do. Just hit that button, vote. And if this gets a lot of votes, then Project for Awesome will grant Lifespan.io $100,000 or something, whatever the final number comes out to. A huge amount of number. Now that money goes into there, and we can help scientists and researchers and biotech companies out there push even faster to bring these technologies, these age rejuvenation products to the masses. It's all at the cellular, molecular, and even the atomic level. You'd be amazed if you start taking a look at what we've done already in the past. We've already done a human genome project from 2000 to 2008, and that has opened up the whole DNA, 23 chromosomes in each cell, and in each cell inside the nucleus, packed very tightly, is 23 pairs of chromosomes, and inside of there is what they call the chromosome legs, which, if you look at it very closely, those molecules there are, and you look at the atomic level, it's what reads out ATGC code. It's basically a design of what your body is and how your body is made. And all it is 4 letters, ATGC, and is wrapped around, twirled. But there's millions of what they call base pairs. This makes up who we are, but we have now the technology to read every single code on the DNA. Our technologies have given us the ability to go down to the cellular, molecular, and the atomic levels. And once we know, and once we can measure something, then we can engineer the issues out. If we can't measure it, we don't know where to start, we're guessing. But once we can measure something, then we can take that measurement results, look at it, apply theories, and engineer those issues out. And all we need to do is not perfect it either. The great thing about this is it's not even far-fetched, because we don't have to perfect it. All we need to do is repair molecular damage faster than it occurs. If we can repair molecular damage faster than it occurs, then game over. We've achieved what they call longevity escape velocity, and now we can reverse biological aging and actually get younger and healthier back to the same metrics that we were when we're, say, 25 years old. It's now possible by repairing molecular damage faster than it accumulates. That's all we need to do, and we're there. So vote for this video right now and help support Lifespan.io and all the other great Project for Awesomes. Thank you.